guys! Today I wanted to talk to you about my favorite kids/middle grade fiction series. I have a lot of different series in my collection that I don't read, but I collect. These are the ones that I actually do read and love. These are usually geared towards ages 9 to 12. That's what like middle grade fiction is. So this is a step before young adult fiction. Some of these are bigger books, some of them are smaller books, but I wanted to show you some of my favorites. The first one is going to be both Candy Apple and Poison Apple books. These are super easy to read. These are really short and the font is very big in it. Just something fun to read to pass the time. These are very girly. When you think of middle grade fiction, that's kind of what you think about. Cutesy little stories where the ending is always positive, you know. And then made by the same people are the Poison Apple books. And these are darker. They are more around like Halloween type stuff. They have like vampires and fortune tellers and werewolves, stuff like that. So they are kind of getting you started for young adult fiction that came out around the same time, Twilight and stuff like that. It's a lot of creatures that don't exist, but they're very cool, nice little stories for kids. Going off of that, this is my all-time favorite series. This series started in 1975, but it is just such a good series. Some of it definitely doesn't age well, but it's still really cool to read, and I think it's very well written. And that is the Blossom Culp series by Richard Peck. So I have The Ghost Belonged to Me, which was the first one. And the second one, this is the first thing I ever read about it. This is the first one that I read. Ghosts I Have Been. And then on the other side is The Dreadful Future of Blossom Culp. And then number 3 I actually never read, and it's Blossom Culp and the Sleep of Death. This I actually got recently because I loved those books so much that I wanted to find out if there were any more, and this is the final book. I think anyone could read. I really don't think you have to be between 9 to 12 to read this series. Blossom Culp was born in the very early 1900s. She was going to graduate high school in 1914, I think. Her mom is like a fortune teller. Her and her friend Alexander find a ghost and they kind of follow it on a journey and everything. And then in the Dreadful Future, she goes to the 1970s, which in the time was present day. She thinks it's crazy how many lights and technological advances there are. There's a computer and McDonald's they mention, and it's just really cool to see, especially because now that was forever ago, and when it was written it was brand new. So this is a good series. I really like it. They most likely have these on Amazon. If they're not Prime, I'm sure they have them from other sellers for like $4. Try it out. It's something different. A lot of these that come out today seem like the same story over again, but this is very unique. The next series I love is the Time Traveling Fashionista series. This one isn't that old. I was following it as it was coming out, which is something I never really do. I tend to either wait until the whole series is done or start the series and then forget about it, as you have to wait 1 to 2 years for each book to come out. But for this one I actually like kept up with it and I was like, when's the next one coming out? And I was collecting them. So there's 3. So Louise gets this invitation in the mail to go to a store that has a bunch of vintage clothes, and she went because she was getting a dress for the dance, and when she tries on a dress she gets transformed back to that time. She is whoever owned the dress before, so she's in their life, and everyone around them doesn't know that she isn't who she looks like. Because she's wearing the dress, they think that's who she is, but she's not. She's a 12-year-old girl from, 2012 or whenever this came out. So it's a really cool series, and they also have really pretty pictures in there. Here's one there, and then here's another one. Just really really pretty stuff. I like that there are such pretty pictures in it. Look at these pictures, they're so pretty. I think these are very well written, and also they keep your interest because it's another unique type of story and the pictures are beautiful in it. And the final series I'm going to talk about is the Land of Stories series. This is a pretty recent series. It didn't come out too long ago, and this is the last one that came out, and I think it came out last year or the year before. I think they're very good. These siblings get a book, and then when they open it, they get transported into the fairy land. So they are in the Land of Stories. They plop right into the book. I only got to number 5, actually. I never ended up finishing this series. There's 6 books. And then I also have this, which is 2 mini books. So it's the Mother Goose Diaries and Queen Red Riding Hood's Guide to Royalty. These are some extra books that I have, but I've never read them, and then I haven't read number 6, and I haven't finished number 5. But I definitely want to finish them because it's a great series. I just haven't gotten around to finishing them. There's the first one, and the covers are actually very, very pretty. Upon first glance, you're like, oh, that's a nice picture in the middle. But on either side, they are creatures from the book, and then also here and here. So it's more than what you first look at it. You're like, you just notice that picture, and then you actually look around and there's more that tells more of the story. These are actually like big books, especially for a kid's book. That's a lot of pages. If you or someone you know really loves reading and they read quickly and they read constantly, it would be a good series because it might slow them down a little bit. I think it keeps your interest the whole way through. You don't read a couple and then kind of like forget about it. I didn't finish it because I haven't really been reading much anymore. I used to read a lot more. I definitely need to get back into reading because I have so many books and I tend to have a hard time getting rid of my favorites. So I might have books like these that I read like 10 years ago, but they're still my favorite, so I keep them. Then there are ones like these where I still haven't finished the series, but I keep them all. But I'm planning on finishing the series out, finishing the last 2 books, and then reading these 2 little books. They're beautiful books. I don't really like hardcover books, but for these, I bought the hardcover copies of them, except for the first one. The first one I got the paperback because I didn't know if I'd like it, so I didn't want to buy the hardcover when the paperback was cheaper. If you go to Books A Million, there's usually at least one in the bargain section, in the kids part of the bargain section. So let me see which one. This one, it has a dot on it. The sticker's off of the back, but it was probably $5, and it's usually $18. Definitely look at the bargain sections of bookstores, Amazon. Even if it's not from Prime, usually there's other sellers that sell it for a lot cheaper. Or look at eBay or thrift books. I love books and everything, but I don't love spending $20 on one book. So if I can find them somewhere where they're cheaper, I would rather do that. It would suck to get a nice, really expensive copy of a book and then find out you don't like it. I'm looking at my Harry Potter collection because I don't love Harry Potter. You'll notice that that's not in my favorite kids series. I tried getting into it. I bought the whole collector's edition box set and I didn't really love it. So now I have a collection of books that I don't love. I'm gonna try to get back into it. I've read the first one. Like 10 years ago I watched the first movie, and it's crazy how well the book worked with the movie. It was like they really did very well at keeping the book to the movie, which is very rare. When I read the book, I could see the movie in my head going, which is really good. But I haven't finished reading book 2, and I don't think I watched the second movie either. So it might be easier for me to get into it more if I maybe watch the movies first and then try reading the book to correlate, or just watching the second movie because I've never watched it. Maybe I'll like the movies and not like the books. I don't know. I have some of the movies. I have 3 of them. My brother was a fan of Harry Potter, so we bought the movies of the first 3, I guess. But I don't know if I'll love it. But I'm going to try that out, see if I can get into Harry Potter because everyone is obsessed with it. And there's got to be a reason. I'm guessing I'm just not seeing the reason. But these are going to be my favorite kids fiction. Oh. Duh. Ew. Goosebumps. I don't know if this even needs to be said because if you know me, you know how obsessed with Goosebumps I am. Goosebumps. This is my all-time favorite kids series. I'm just so used to talking about it. I feel like everyone's read them already, so it's like, should I even talk about them because you've probably read them? But in case you are one of those people who is like, I'm not reading it because everyone loves it and it's probably stupid. It's not. You're the stupid one. So get Goosebumps, duh. I prefer the Fear Street books to the Goosebumps books, but those are going to be in my favorite young adult series video. But for kids books, gotta love Goosebumps. They're scary. Sometimes they don't always have a positive ending. Sometimes, you know, the kid gets eaten by a monster. Sometimes they don't make it out. But they're very good. They're funny. They're a classic. Read them if you haven't. I didn't want this to be like a bunch of obvious ones where it's like, well, yeah, of course that's your favorite series. We've all read it. I wanted these to be kind of different series that maybe you didn't know existed. Like Blossom Culp, you might not have even heard of that. So I'm going to upload my favorite young adult fiction series video soon. That's going to be basically this same video, but with young adult series instead. If you have any books that you think I would like to read, pop them down below. If you've read any of these and you really like them, let me know which ones. Or if you didn't like one of these series, keep me updated. I want to know what your thoughts are on any of these books. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.